On this episode of Real Estate on the Rocks, we're going to give you 4.5 reasons why you're going to stop working with buyers immediately.
Welcome to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. Here's your host, Dave Snowberger.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and the bar is open. Today I'm hanging out with Marshall Tucker and James the Butcher Mendez.
Hello, everybody.
I got excited.
You should at least fade that out. This is why we call you the Butcher. Like, you should at least fade that out.
No, it was quick excitement.
Just quick excitement.
Time to go.
Boom,
Time to
done.
go.
All right, there we go.
And we got stuff to do.
On one. All right.
We got stuff to do.
All right, so like I said in the title, we're going to talk about the 4.5 reasons. It's really 5, obviously, but I wanted to play around with these guys and throw them off. Reasons why you want to stop working with buyers immediately. Yeah, people will gasp at that. What do you mean? I do business with
Everyone, Dave.
everybody. We've had plenty of bouts. We've had plenty bouts about that topic, Marshall. However, you can work with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, that's certainly, if that's your game plan, go right ahead. However, but we're going to give you the reasons why you should give up working with or focusing on buyers, right?
Buyers
Focusing
only.
on buyers only.
That'd be the
Really.
80-20 also
Right,
there.
you know, and I mean, if I'm speaking to, team members that are buyers agents, you might
Quit?
want to just
No, just kidding.
quit. Walk in there and say, take this job and shove it.
Dave said, I don't have to do this anymore.
His phone number is, I'm out. Yeah. You can text him at Top Shelf. Anyway. Oh, we got to
Somebody
get rid
does
of the
that, let
Top
us
Shelf.
know. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, all right, here we go. One time. Let's go check it out. Marshall, what do you got here?
It's very easy for new and seasoned agents to fall into the trap of wasting time and with buyers because buyer leads are easier to get. So
Right. So I'll expand on that real quick. Buyer leads are the easiest thing in the business to get. Like I always say, none of us have lead problems. We all know somebody. We all know lead generation methods. We can go buy leads from Zillow. We can go work open houses. We can go do certain other activities, run ads on Facebook, Craigslist, wherever else to bring in buyers leads. Buyer leads are very easy to get, but they're very hard to close. They're very hard to work with. They're very hard to nail down, and they don't provide you a lot of leverage these days, right? Buyers just don't provide leverage at all.
Right.
Unless you're selling $1 million homes and cashing in $30,000 paychecks every single time, it gives you a little bit of leverage before you can start, working with your next one. Cool. You're the exception. I'm not talking to you, so go ahead and shut it off. I'm talking to the folks that are working with buyers or struggling to get buyers. Maybe you should change gears. Maybe you shouldn't listen to the industry that says, you need to really cut your teeth working with buyers the first couple years. You need experience to work with sellers. I agree with that. You do need experience. You do need to up your game a little bit more. You need to have a plan. You have to have a strategy, right? You need skills. But how are you going to get those skills if you just consistently work with buyers over and over again? You're never going to obtain those skills.
Yep.
How can you get those skills, Marshall, without? We had mentioned it in one of the last podcasts, is with more than likely getting a mentor.
right.
Correct?
Correct.
And asking somebody if you can nail down a listing appointment, asking a mentor to go on the listing with you. If you get the listing, you make it very clear, because I did this when I was a new agent.
Get it in
and
writing.
I didn't make it clear that you're there to help me obtain this listing, and that's it. And I'm going to give you something at the end of this. You're not going on the listing with me. You can do it, that way if you want. I'm not telling you what to do.
Yeah.
I'm offering my advice. But I wouldn't put them on the listing with you. Give them 10% at the end, for going on the appointment with you. $300,000 listing, $9,000 commission. Give them $900 to $1,000 for going with you. Yeah. That's worth 45 minutes to an hour of their time.
Seems fair.
To critique you, to see how you did, explain it to the seller. I did all this stuff.
Yeah.
I really did. And it didn't go so well for me. That agent ended up getting the listing and I didn't.
Dang.
Because she was the expert and I wasn't.
That's
However, I severed that relationship. I still see her. We pulled up next to her the other day in traffic, remember? Over there in front of the title company we closed. And she's like, oh my God, I thought that was you and your license plates. I was like, yeah, that's me. That's me.
That's horrible.
You said a lot more
I
than that.
do 3 times the production she does now, so I'm all right with it.
Nice.
But that's what happened when I was younger. Anyway, when I was newer in the business, buyers are easier to get, but harder to close. Sellers are harder to get, but if you have a motivated seller, they're easier to close.
Yeah.
Motivated sellers aren't necessarily working 3 agents at a time, 4 agents at a time.
Yeah.
They're not obviously checking out Zillow and Truly and stopping by open houses as well, right?
Yeah.
So they might interview 3 agents. However, the statistics show that they always, like, what is it? 70% of the time they go with the first agent that approached them.
Yeah.
So be the first agent. We always hear that in strategy talk too. Do you like to be the first agent or the third agent? Or the 5th agent? You know, I want to be first. If I'm first, I'm going to close the door on number 2, 3, 4, and 5.
So that you might not even get a chance up at bat.
Yeah,
if
you're not going to get
second or
it's going to be rough you getting a bat. I always offer, like, I can call the next agent and let them know that you've listed with me. You would do that for me? God dang it. I hate doing this.
The first time you said that, I was like, really?
Yeah.
I want to see this.
Yeah. And I've done it, and it's uncomfortable. Like, hey, Marshall. Dave Snowberger here, Snowberger Realty Group.
Oh, hey, Dave.
Just sitting over here at 123 Main Street, and want to let you know that we went ahead and signed the paperwork, so there's no reason for you to keep your 2 o'clock appointment today. But if you do have a qualified buyer, we'd love to have you over to the house. You know,
Dave.
Yeah, and it's like shock and awe. They have no idea what to say on the other end, right? They're just like, and they're stunned, and then you hang up, and then 5 minutes later, the phone rings of the seller that you're at, and it's that agent, Hey, I just had an agent call me. Yeah, we decided to go ahead and do it now. I think he was the best fit for us.
Have you signed anything?
Yeah, have you signed anything yet? Well, I'm doing that right now. And I'm standing right there by the phone, like, sign this right now. Sign it.
Dave wants me to hang up now. Click.
Or I just hang up. I go over and put my finger on the phone.
Right by their face.
See, I'm thinking of like a wall phone, and you're thinking of a cell phone. So that's how old I am. No, I'm just kidding. So buyers don't give you leverage. We brought that up.
They had phones on the wall.
On the other hand,
Just kidding.
when you have a listing and you have inventory, buyers come to you because they want what you have.
Yep.
So NAR, National Association of Realtors, shows that for every listing you take, it procures 2 qualified buyers. Mm-hmm. Maybe not for that property, which is great.
Yeah.
Right? So what can you do with those buyer leads? If you have multiple listings, if you have 5 listings a month, you're procuring on an average 10 buyers, right?
Yep.
That's why it's so important for realtors to pick up their phones, right? Because you never know who's calling.
Yeah.
You need to know what to say when you have sign calls.
Yeah.
That's a script we go through all the time, right? Mm-hmm. So we're certainly heavily scripted in that, because that's one of my weakest points. Or right there was my answering the phone and saying, hey, I'm in front of 123 Main Street. What can you tell me about it? And I would just have diarrhea of the mouth and just be kind of like, blah, here it all is. And you don't need to call me. Like, just like hang up on me.
I remember the first phone, when I first started and the phone calls at the front desk. Oh, man. I'm glad they don't record those. Yeah. I'm good at responding.
They do.
And handling phone calls.
We
and
listen
stuff
to
like
them
that.
in the back.
Oh, my God. Not that I'm bad with communicating with people on the phone.
This is why you're not allowed to answer the phone anymore.
So in the military and everything and IT support, so I've handled tons and tons of phone calls. Like, that doesn't bother me at all. I was multitasking, answering the phone, helping people at the front desk, and doing everything when I was there. No problem. But the real estate side of that conversation could not possibly have been anything that said, hands down, I have to work with that guy.
Sidebar, every time you say you're in the military, I have like a big Lebowski moment. I'm like, you were never even in the military, Donnie.
Oh, my God.
But,
17 years later.
Right. Where was I going with that? Was those sign calls. Like, that's important. That's one of the biggest parts of your business that you need to perfect, that brokers don't tell you about. Real estate coaches don't mention a lot of times. But that's the thing that you need to start perfecting, is if when you go out and you have that certain skill set, is picking up the phone, right? Mm-hmm. Is answering, hey, I have a house, or I'm calling about the house you have on 123 Main Street. And then you learn really the stall, right? And so you want to keep them on the phone as long as possible, because why? You want to build some rapport. Every time Marshall's like going to answer, I just answer the question.
I say, what's the price on that? 350,000. Click. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah. And so you start saying, I want to, excuse me, I'm going to start my computer here real quick. For some reason, it's running a little bit slow.
Yeah.
You know, and then you kind of slow play into it. And so, hey, what brought you to this area? You know, and then you start asking questions, right? That's one big thing that we always do, that we were always very purposeful about into providing the value to this podcast. Is one of the most important things we could ever tell you is learn to ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Questions will help you find the motivation. The motivation will help you find, you know, put them in the current situation or help them in their current situation.
Yep.
Right. So I'm trying to rhyme.
And that parlays with your database information too. You're never going to find out any of the information. You're never going to have a great database with a lot of information if you're not cultivating that by asking great questions.
Qualify them and say, you know, oh, you know, like, hold on, why I'm pulling this house up, you know, what brought you to this area? You know, do you know a budget that you're trying to stay within right now? You know, or better question is what? Will you be paying cash?
Yeah.
You know, and so will you be paying cash for the property? And a lot of times you get a chuckle, oh, I don't have that kind of money. Okay. So, you know, and then the people typically go for, you know, are you working with a lender? Which is going in for the kiss. For me, it's going in, it's a little bit too strong.
Yeah.
It's going in for the kiss immediately, you know, and you haven't even, you know, gone to dinner yet. So just hold on, slow it down a little bit, and just try to at least get what their you know, their price point is. What are the neighborhoods have you looked at?
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, what is it about this house that you particularly made you pull over and look at it? You know, it's like, hold on, my computer's almost up. You know, here it's coming up in a second. I'm putting the search in right now. It'll just take a second. But, you know, what brought you to the neighborhood? Keep the conversation going. Keep the conversation going. You can tell sometimes you might think they're getting annoyed, you know?
Yeah.
If they're getting annoyed with you, more than likely, they're not going to be hanging out with you in the first place once you give them that price, because all they want is that price and then you're off the phone. Yeah. Right. And so a lot of times I've even seen professionals do this, is call them back. Say, is this your number? If we get disconnected, is this your number? And if you have a phone with caller ID on it, which most phones these days have, if they didn't call your cell phone, if they call your office phone, you're working or something like that, and repeat it back to them and say, okay, just if we get disconnected, I'm going to go ahead and send you this information right now. What is the, you're validating, you're shaking your head. Am I doing this right? Because it's been a while since I've done it.
Or just say, what's your email? I'm going to email that right over to you.
There we go. That was my next step, was I'll do that. And so you can actually send that property right then and there to their email. If that email kicks back, you know that they just gave you a bogus email. And then you can say, hey, look, I just tried to send you that property. You know, can you give me that again? Is that Marshall Tucker? Is that 2 L's on the end? You know, it's like you said, yeah, it is. You know, or I said Gmail, it's actually Yahoo. Common mistake, right? Usually we have both. And so
that means they lied to you.
Right. So, and then we put that in, we send it over to them, and then you can tell them, you know, hey, you know, are you working with any other agents on this property? You know, there's somebody listening to us that's way better at this than I am, and I'm trying to come up with it. I didn't prepare this, obviously. It just came into this conversation. But go ahead, Marshall.
The topic of the show is working with listings.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But anyway, buyers are more likely to break your heart, so they'll go look at houses with you, make you drive all over Egypt, and then lease or buy with someone else.
Or go to a new build and get wooed by a on-site salesperson that works for who?
Not you. Not them.
Not them.
That's right. Or get all the way to the closing table and not close the day before.
Or get all the way to the closing table and find out that the neighborhood doesn't have the high-speed internet they needed. We've had that one before. Mm-hmm. That was a doozy. Walking away from $5,000 worth of earnest money because they don't care, or the internet wasn't good enough for what they need to do, which I understand.
Or getting beat out in multiple offers, and you suddenly don't look like the professional anymore, so they move on again.
Mm-hmm. You've had that happen a couple times. You've had some people stick with you. You've had some people ditch you.
Well, they don't listen to the advice, so you can't make them. Yeah.
Offer up, put a horrible offer in, and be like, how did we get beat out?
We're 40,000 under. Come on, man.
I won't even submit it. Like, come on, we have to get realistic. And this is that part about one of our last podcasts where we talked about being the professional and being a little bit more tough. Is that you have to learn how to talk to your clients. You know, it's like, hey, submit it for 50,000 under. Okay, no. You know, like,
sorry,
hey,
they're going to direct us to that comedy club.
Yeah, let's at least
Texas.
go for, you know, this is central. Yeah, this is Austin, Texas, and homes don't stay on the market very long. And obviously, this one right here, it's been on the market for less than 1 day. You know, a lot of times it's 0 days on the market. And you want to go 50 grand under. You know, well, my friend did it. No, he didn't. Maybe in Nebraska.
Yeah,
but
they're
not
lying
here.
to you.
Yeah, sorry about anybody out there in Nebraska, but that's always my pick on state.
We had like 2 listeners in Nebraska.
All right, so buyers are more likely, like Marshall said, to break your heart. That's never good. And we've told you how to handle the buyers that break your heart with the 5-minute funeral. Boom, 5 minutes. Complain about it, talk about it with your friends, and then get over it and get back on to the next one. More and more buyers are searching online these days, and so a lot of them are going straight to the listing agent.
Right.
We just mentioned a call, when they call into us.
They can get that information from anyone.
One of the things that do you do this because I see splits. I see this as a split opinion in amongst agents is when you do pre-qualify somebody on the phone that calls you and you say, hey, are you working with any agents right now? And they say yes. How do you handle that?
Fantastic. I'm great. You're open to working with a professional like me.
Oh, nice. Okay. And then what? You give them the information or you just hang up on them and tell them that you should call your agent? I've heard people do that, and that is frustrating to watch people
You got to
do.
ask more questions because where'd you meet this person at?
Yeah.
You met them at an open house. They're sending you listings. That's fantastic. You haven't signed with them?
Bingo.
Well,
That's
you're
one
still
thing
free.
I say right there all the time is like, great, what's their name?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can, I would love to do a deal with them.
What broker are they with?
I can't remember his name. So then you can go into more questions. Like, where did you meet this agent?
Or if I have some information for them, I'll be like, well, fine, just have your agent call me and I'll give this to them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be happy to reach out to them and tell them.
Yeah. Just give me their information. Shoot me a text real
Go
quick.
at least 3 deep on the questions and find out. Because a lot of people, that's their natural instinct is just to say yes and kind of push you away. Just like
Shoppers.
Yeah, just
And
like you're
Walmart.
going into the store and like, can I help you? Like, no, I got this. And then you have to circle back like, no, I don't got this. I'm like,
I tried. I need your
I need
help.
help.
Well, most of the big box retail stores these days, they've switched that from can we help you? Because that's a yes or no, question.
Yeah.
And they've
What are you looking for
It's
today?
like, no, we're just looking. It's like, great. What are you looking for?
Yeah.
I can help you. And now that's an open-ended question where they can come back and they can answer you.
I caught myself doing that. I walk by and they're like, yeah, can we help you? I'm like, no, I got this. I'm just looking around. Oh, yeah. Where's this? And they're like, oh, it's right there. I'm like, all right,
in
thanks.
front of me.
Yeah. Like right in the middle of saying, I'm like, I just did it again.
Yeah.
But it's a reflexive thing. So, I mean, if you can get past that and then ask some great questions, you can find out a lot of times that people actually aren't really working with somebody. They just have some information from someone.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about how do you master getting listings and working with sellers. I can touch on that a little bit. We have a good perspective here because I list somewhere probably between 40 to 50 homes a year. And Marshall I know his numbers, closes somewhere between 30 to 40 homes a year on the buyer side, right? Alone. And then we've got what James does in production, what say Jason Matthews does in production, and whoever else is on our team right now that we never bring into this podcast. However, how to master getting listings is really that. One of the low-hanging fruits that you can deal with is for sale by owners. For sale by owners have people have labeled them a little bit harder to work with, a little bit more obstinate, right? I don't find that to be true when I call them and I have conversations with them. But then again, I'm not going to back down from them. I won't be barked at. I won't be told that I'm less than I'm worth. And I immediately start going after the value I do provide, right? And so a lot of the stuff to master these things it just starts off with being in conversation. Why are they selling? Why are they choosing to sell it by yourself? I always save that one for the end. I like to ask the probing questions. We possibly have someone for the area. And I know you as buyer's agents, both of you guys, have always come back and thought that I don't want to lie to the consumer. I don't have somebody for their property. But it's not a lie because you could have somebody because they're off the MLS. So think about who's in your current buyer pool. Would this house work for them? You don't know because they have crappy pictures on Zillow or FSBO.com.
Yeah.
Or you saw a sign in the front yard and they don't have any representation they put on for there's plenty of people that are on for sale by owner or Zillow, And so
unless you sent that listing to every single person in your entire pool of leads,
you need to see
don't
it.
know.
You need to see it, and so that's an easy one, and you can save a bunch of the questions for the time that you get over there. But just tell them, hey, look, I've got, I need about 5 to 10 minutes to take a walk through the house, and don't go over there with any certainties, and certainly don't try to close them over the phone. I am so tired of seeing just basically realtors that don't know enough to try to close a for sale by owner over the phone. That takes all the actual work out of it. You know, we get paid in proportion to the problems we solve. You're not solving anybody's problem by telling them how great you are over the phone.
Yeah.
Just get the appointment, get the showing. You know, get over there, take a look at the house. If they've got crappy pictures, you can show value by what, Marshall?
By showing them other photos of listings that you've had that are awesome and professional.
Recommending a photographer for them,
Yep.
even. You know, and then telling them how much professional photos cost. Their jaws will probably drop. I'm
much
trying to save money. Now
marketing
you've got
budget?
me. Yeah. Now they don't have marketing budgets like we do.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, perfect your elevator pitch. Why would I hire you? What can you do that I can't do these days?
Everything.
Right. But they don't know that.
Yeah.
They don't know that, you know, because maybe Bob across the street sold their house for sale by owner and just lucked out.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Bob's house was a little bit nicer than the seller the for sale by owner that we're talking to at this point.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I love all the time that I see is when I price things for them, because when I do get the appointment and I go over there, what do I go over there with? I go over there with data. I go over there with comps. I go over there with rock solid comps.
Facts.
That can't be, that can't be, you know, well, Bob said he sold for $350. I'm like, Bob's a damn liar.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, Bob BS'd you.
You try to save face.
Yeah. Bob sold for $329, not $350. You know, there's a huge difference there, you know, and if he didn't pay any commission to sell, but I see right here, it was closed out and there was an agent attached to it, you know, so he did pay a commission. More than likely, I don't know what it was. We don't see that part of it. We don't see the, you know, the disclosures or anything. But, you know, there's always some caveats that they don't know the whole story if they're taking a neighbor's advice, it seems. So that's one thing that you can identify and you can catch when you are observant to it, right? And you can't do that over the phone, trying to close them over the phone is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, definitely.
So get the appointment. Go on the appointment. You know, and we're just talking for sale by owners right now. We haven't even gotten to withdrawals and expires, and I'll speed this up real quick. I'm kind of talking slow today.
I used to do that, and Dave used to call it going in for the kiss too soon.
Yeah.
You gotta date 'em a little
I
bit.
think I actually did call it that about
Did you say
5
that?
minutes ago. Welcome back to the podcast.
squirreled
Marshall
out.
Tucker's here now, folks.
I'm back.
Right. And so, you know, you get the appointment, you get over there, and usually what I do is I take a red folder with me, right?
Yeah.
Why red? Why not? Because it piques
Catch people's eye.
curiosity,
Yep.
right? And so it's cooler than a blue folder. You know, it stands
What?
out more than a red folder. I mean, a blue folder, a green folder, a yellow folder. You know, I like red. I like the color red. So I take it over in a red folder, right? I have all the comps in there. And I actually have a contract in there.
Yeah.
I actually brought a full pre-filled contract with me, with their names on it, everything ready to go, right? Except for the price and the commission. Those are pretty much the two things that aren't taken care of yet.
Yeah.
I've got lock boxes in my truck and I've got signs in my truck. You know, typically I'll take a sign with me. I go over there with the mindset that this person is going to list with me.
Yep.
But this is again why I sold. We have to go look at the numbers, but it was well over 10. I always call them open houses for sale by owners last year. You know, and I've slowed down on them. I've sold more.
Yep.
You know, and so you go over there, and at the end of everything, you take a look through, you take some notes, you ask if you can take some pictures of some things that might stand out to your clients if you do have clients, because maybe their pictures are garbage. You know, maybe they're using their cell phone. A lot of these folks seem to be like, for some reason, they have the same camera that they captured Bigfoot with all the time. You know? And so it's a horrible camera, whatever they're using, and then they upload it, and it's like, you know, them standing in the mirror with the big flash, all those great little MLS pictures you see all the time where people are making fun of them. That seems to happen constantly with for sale by owners.
Bad angles, bad lighting. Oh.
Right before you leave, they want to know what's in the folder. A lot of times they'll ask me, what's in the folder? I'm like, oh, this. Well, here, let me sit down real quick. Let me show you. You know, I've actually brought all the comps, and I think that you're leaving a lot of money on the table, or I think the reason why you haven't received any offers yet, you said that you've had 15 people through so far, and you haven't received any offers, I think you're a little bit overpriced, and you can't be afraid to tell them they're overpriced.
Yeah.
You know, and so you got to take the gloves off and say, hey, look, anything that I'm going to tell you right now it's not meaning to offend you. You know, it's really to help you get the property sold. Like, I would love to see you sell it by yourself and save that commission. You know, however, this is what I do every single day. And so let me show you these numbers real quick. And it just segues into that. And then I find some tie downs. You know, I find something in the house. I'm drawing on one right now where the guy was a photographer, and he was an ex-pilot turned photographer. He couldn't fly anymore, so he loved to take pictures of planes, right? Nice. And so he had some really cool stuff that I admired his photography. You know, I play with photography a little bit. We started talking about it. Next thing you know, we had built great rapport. You know, and so he's like, show me those numbers again, because he thought I was full of crap. And the whole instance about Bob, I was serious. Like, that was a real conversation I had.
Yeah.
You know, with him, he's saying that Bob across the street sold.
Yeah.
And I showed him differently. And he's like, okay, so you think you can sell my house faster than I can? I was like, I know I can. You know, you've already been on the market, you said, for 3 weeks. You've had 15 showings. You've had no offers. What's it going to hurt to try with me? You know, can you do it for, you know, will you sell it for 1%? Because there's another guy that says he'll sell it for 1% down the street. Well, if you think it's expensive to work with a professional, you should try working with an amateur like that guy down the street.
Yeah.
And I got no problem throwing an agent under the bus, you know, that will, especially with a ditches commission like that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
If he's got something else worked out to where it's a move up program, good for you. This guy wasn't moving up, he was moving out. You know? So he was done with the house, you know, he was about to go rent a place.
Oh, dang.
And so he was done.
Got
So
no
anyway,
lead on that
long
one.
story short, we ended up getting a listing. And this has happened time over time over time, because I show up and I'm ready to play ball. I show up as a professional. I show up dressed up, ready to play, ready to roll, right? And so I can't do that with buyers all the time, right? Buyers, they want us to what? Run out of the door right there. We get those sign calls all the time that say, hey, you know,
I'm
hey,
standing in front of the house,
yeah,
man.
can I
Where
see
you
it?
at?
Can I see it? Mm-hmm. I had someone the other
Look,
day.
you're looking at it right now.
What do you think about it?
We sell real estate in another city also. You know, we've got Steven down in Corpus. And so, you know, we get these people sometimes that call in off of some signs we have down there for some listings. And like, we're standing out here right now. Can I see it? I'm like, I'm in Austin right now. They're like, so you can't show it to me?
Dude, that's an occupied property, man.
Yeah, I was like, you're standing in front of somebody's house that lives there.
Right?
You know? Anyway, so
People are crazy.
buyers are crazy. Not all buyers, but
No.
okay.
We got a few good buyers we work with.
Well, if you're frustrated with buyers and again, you need to develop your skills, system, strategy on how to motivate sellers, inspire them to hire you and sell their houses for top dollar. What that will do is create more for you. You'll get referrals out of that. You'll have more leverage out of that. You'll provide more buyers out of that. At a certain time when you take enough listings, you won't want to work with buyers anymore anyway. And you can provide leverage. Listings, leads, leverage. That's how you need to think about these things. The more listings you take, the more leads you have, the more leverage it provides you.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than giving up business that you have coming in to another agent to work that for you for a referral fee. Like, I absolutely love doing that.
Yeah.
You know, and this year in 2020, my whole team, our whole business will transition into listings only.
Yeah.
Right? We're taking listings only. We won't do any more marketing towards buyers, right? The marketing towards buyers, that's a tough game to keep it going, right? Yeah. It's a lot of flushing money down the toilet because Zillow's got that one. ZTR's got that one. They're going there and then they're contacting us, you know? So we'll probably do an 80-20 split with 80% of our marketing going towards sellers and 20% continued at buyers, right?
Yep.
And with the amount of new construction happening within the Austin, Texas area, more than likely I'll push down that road as continue. I love doing new construction.
Yep.
You know, I love for my guys to do new construction. There's nothing better than showing up to a builder rep and handing them over and saying, hey, look, these are my people. They're looking for this. And so I naturally brought them here. And so here you go.
Oh, and it's paying 6%.
Yeah. And I can offer maybe 1% or 2% over to them for closing costs. It's like, oh, wait a minute. They're paying closing costs as well? Oh, my Lord.
That's all my money?
They got sawed something back, front and back, and 2 trees, alarm system, ceiling fans, upgraded countertops.
Warranty?
What else?
A warranty. Makes people feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah. Why are you talking like the Hodge twins?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
A warranty.
Yeah.
So dumb. All right, man. Well, it's been about 30 minutes. So there's some reasons to stop working with buyers. Guys, can you think of anything else? Because I know that there's
You used to just tell me that working with buyers is physical and working with sellers is mental labor.
yeah, working
So
with buyers is physical labor.
You're
In
like,
and out
if
of
you
the
ever
car,
want to go on
driving around.
vacation, Marshall, make sure you take a lot of listings because it doesn't work when you have a lot of buyers.
Yeah. I mean, you see most of the buyers you work come from where, Marshall? Listings I take.
Yeah.
So they come in a ton from there. You know,
And
that's what's that?
And the referral game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Those are the best. If you're going to take any buyers, those are the best ones to take. Referrals, hands down, are the best ones. Just because you don't have the headache of a lot less headache of crazy people.
Well, you don't have the headache of getting them to know, like, and trust you because
Yeah.
you came
You have the
referred.
validation.
Yeah, you have
Yep.
the validation from somebody they trust in their lives.
Yeah.
You know, and so whether it's a spouse or not a spouse, but a cousin, a brother, something like that, a trusted friend from church or work, wherever they were from, wherever they're moving from. I love relocation referrals, and Marshall actually dominates at that game here in Austin, Texas. There's those what are they called? The referral fan groups. And his name gets thrown out there against the biggest names in real estate.
Yeah.
And people that throw in this, big, huge thing, how they're going to give you fresh cookies for life and
Free tacos,
pizza
for your
rolls and
client.
tacos. And
How about I just save my client lots of money and then I don't have to
Lemonade.
get him free tacos for life?
yeah, that's not value.
That's a win.
That's not value. That's some sort of entitlement.
Well, more like cheap trick.
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors. Anyway, I won't go on a tangent there about referral groups. If you want to hit up Marshall Tucker and his referral group, Marshall, tell him how.
Just go ahead and text, I guess, Top Shelf at 88000. Is that where we're sending them?
It's your referral group.
Jump on Facebook, do a search for Marshall Tucker's Referral Network, send me a friend request, call me, 512-763-6547. I don't care how you get here, just get here.
Yeah, you've got referrals waiting to go out, I know, in some of the bigger cities around the U.S., I know, and we don't want to just give them to anybody. So reach out to Marshall on that one. If you need us for anything, of course, you can hit us up at Top Shelf at 88000. Visit our Facebook group, which is the Hyper Local Agents. That has just changed over. So we love that new name, and we're going to go strong on that. Hyper Local Agents. We're going to help you dominate your market locally. And can't forget our guy, Mike Harrell. Mike Harrell over at Guaranteed Rate. If you want to get a hold of Mike Harrell, it's Magic Mike at 88000. Remember, we are EXP agents. So if you are EXP curious, text us at 88000 or join EXP at 8800, and I'll send you that 7-minute video that they say once you see it, you can't unsee it. Till next time.
I'm out!